started then.
Well, why not? That'd be a good thing to do. Well, Lion came out on what day was it? Was it yesterday? I want to say. Was it the day before Wednesday? Wednesday? I can't remember. Yeah. Anyway, it was Thursday or Wednesday, something like that.
It was Wednesday, yeah.
It was. I got it straight away. 20th. And I just went down there, downloaded it, Twittered it to everybody in our Twitter list. And by the way, if you want to follow that, it's at Talking Apple UK. And so we got our hands on it. Alex, you played with it a little bit as well.
Yeah, I haven't downloaded it yet.
No, but you've played it with mine.
I've had a little go.
You haven't had time to do yours yet.
Obviously available from the App Store just to download, $20.99 in the UK.
And also along with that comes the server as well for 30-odd quid, I want to say.
Okay.
By the side there, you can download that as well. Okay, so let's talk about perhaps the reviews that have started to come out, and then we'll give you our take on it.
Okay, so reviews from just mainstream press and others. People generally in the press like to criticise, don't they?
They do. Especially
when it comes to perhaps new Apple operating systems or new Apple stuff where they're perhaps being a bit quirky, a bit interesting, getting some new ideas out there that the world might not be ready for. It can sometimes be met with criticism before it's liked by everybody. But not so much the case this time, because people are really liking it, aren't they?
Well, yes, the idea is that everybody said the same thing, that the Lion is getting iPadization. That's how they call it. Or at least that's how one of the journalists referred to it, because it's getting a lot of the iOS kind of hints and implementing a lot of stuff from there, like Launchpad and some of the new UI little gadgets, if you will, are starting to show up. And everything, I think pretty much all the iPadization, if you want to call it that, was positive. There wasn't anything, and you can argue that some things are not really useful. At least I won't use Launchpad, for example, but it doesn't cause me any harm. And everything else that's there, it's very candy-like. I like it. I like the iPadization.
It's the way to go, and it's also quite an easy, simple kind of evolution, I suppose.
It's not a huge jump.
Because if they suddenly went, right, we're getting Macs out there where they're going to have multi-touch displays, and they went the whole hog, it wouldn't work. But it's a gradual kind of change, and it's good. Because
it's still 10 point, right?
Yeah.
It's a 10 point.
Yeah, exactly.
Something.
So from going on it and having a little go on it, it's good at that. I mean, it incorporates a lot of things that you just notice, like, oh, okay, yeah, that's the iOS. Something that's been taken from there, and
you get little surprises here and there, little UI suites. Now, just to go back here to what the journalist said, he said generally a lot of the stuff, though, a lot of the full screen stuff, the version stuff, that's not necessarily going to be visible in all applications. In fact, developers have to put them into practice. Full screen you can force it kind of in an app, but it doesn't really work as it should. Versions doesn't work.
They're going to have to be designed with these ideas in mind, aren't they?
But everybody agree that it's a pretty finger-friendly operating system.
If you just strip it down to the bare operating system, the stuff that comes with it, that's a vast improvement. You can't really compare, like you say, the apps on it from third-party makers, because obviously they're not going to have the same technical bits in it. But yeah, as far as the operating system goes in itself, it's working really well, and it's nice. So.
I think it's probably a £21 evolution.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think. Everybody agrees it's a great price. It's kind of like a Windows Vista to a Windows 7 in the sense that in the case of Apple, they didn't have to fix anything, whereas Vista, there was a lot to fix. But it's really not a huge change, but just adding little things. And it's really, perhaps, I would pay, most likely, but I wouldn't be so happy to pay a full OS price for this.
No.
It's much like Snow to Snow Leopard. Oh, sorry, Leopard to Snow Leopard.
Yeah.
That's the kind of, that's how I view it. There's not a huge amount of things there that I would say, that's absolutely different, you know.
But it was all about getting it to iOS, and they've done that. Like I say, Leopard to Snow Leopard was stuff that was behind the scenes. You didn't hardly notice much of the difference, except in kind of the speed and in stuff that was going on behind.
Yeah.
In some of the kind of the way the coding and stuff. But this was a bit different. It was more of a visual thing, but not so much, not drastic change, but little bits. Even down to the the windows, that the buttons, the close and expand and minimize buttons are a little bit different. And
they are, yeah.
Some of the like drop down menus, and obviously there's scroll bars.
There's
and stuff
pop-up menus, very similar to what the iPad has, not the iPhone. The iPhone doesn't.
So drop down menus. Yeah.
What else can I say? But I've got a list here of a reasonably extensive list of the stuff that I thought I could talk about. Yeah. They've sold 1 million of these in the first day.
In the first day, so that's pretty cool. Good. It's at the top of the list on the Mac App Store.
Yeah, in fact, if you go now to the Mac App Store, the top grossing apps, that is the ones that make more money to its developers, 9 of the top 10 are Apple products, and of course, Line is right up there at number 1.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is that I was of the opinion before that you really needed a trackpad to get into Lion. If you just use Lion and the options that are there, sure, you're going to need a trackpad. But with that app that we've mentioned before and I've raved about before as one of my favorite apps on my Mac, Better Touch Tool. It's free. You can get, with a bit of work, you can get everything to work with just your Magic Mouse. And I absolutely have everything. I don't need a trackpad. I can get to every part of the OS, every part of mission control. By the way, Dashboard. You remember when Dashboard was announced? Yeah. I was really worried because Dashboard was now, the way it demoed it was like another space on the left. Right. Whereas I really like to have Dashboard there in front of the apps that I'm using so that I can look back through the semi-transparent kind of screen and see perhaps a document so I can input those words or those numbers into a dashboard widget. You can change that. You can get it back to Snow Leopard style so it's semi-transparent on top of your desktop, so to speak. So that's pretty cool. So I can get to that on my mouse. I can get... so for example, I'm using 3-finger click to close apps, which is great. I can pretty much do everything that you could before.